All right, guys. So we've been talking about Earth's resources and how we use them so far. We talked about the materials we dig out of the earth and how we use them to make things and how we use them to create all the stuff that we use. So we're going to kind of shift gears a little bit, but we're still talking about the same thing. We're going to talk about where we get our energy from. And our energy comes from the earth, but there's a bunch of different kinds of energy that we use. Okay. So you are going to be digging up this information on your own. So I have given you a resource to help you. So this link right here highlighted in green. When you click on that, it's going to open up an energy systems map and it's going to look like this. Okay. So it is going to move around a little bit. Like when you hover over it, things are going to connect. It's going to show you a bunch of different ways that we use this energy, a bunch of different ways where we get this energy from. So if I click on energy itself, it will show me the main types of energy right here. So we have alternative energy, fossil fuel, and renewable energy. Okay. Energy efficiency is something separate. This is not an energy source, but instead it's how we use our energy. Okay. So we're not really looking at that today. Not yet. We'll talk about it a little bit later on in this, but we're not focusing on that today. Okay. So here it asks, what are the three main types of energy resources here on Earth? I just told you those. Okay. It's those three bubbles right here, the alternative energy, fossil fuels, and renewable energy. That's the three main categories of energy resources we have. Now, if you remember from our last project, the last thing that you researched, what is our main source of energy here on Earth? And you can always come over here, you can click through these. It will tell you which one is the main source of our energy, okay? All right, and then it's going to ask you what a renewable resource is. So if you come over here and you click on renewable resource, you can click on it. Oh, you click on it, it'll come up with the definition right here. That is the definition of renewable energy. And if you want to learn more about renewable energy, you click on the YouTube video. You can watch that YouTube video. I'm going to move this out of the way. Or you can click on View Topic. If you click View Topic, it will open up a web page with a lot more information about renewable energy or whatever resource you are looking at. Okay, so it's going to explain it right here a little bit. It will have that same YouTube video on here, and then it's going to give you some more information down below. Okay, so there's a lot more here than what first meets the eye, and there's always places you can dig in just a little bit deeper. You can learn more about a specific type of energy resource that we use. You can look about current legislation, so laws and things that are enforcing it or influencing how we use our energy across the United States. They'll talk about what our resources are, our options. There's all kinds of places to dig in here and learn a lot more about a specific energy resource. Okay. So just to get back to the map, you'll click the back button up at the top left of your screen and it will bring you back to your energy systems map. Okay. So if I'm asking you to tell me about nuclear energy, you can come over here, you can click on nuclear energy. It gives you the same options. It's got the definition right here. You can watch the video to learn more about it, and you can click on View Topic and be able to read a lot more about it as well. Okay? So, this is a really cool way to understand where we get our energy from, how we use it, and what the impact is. So, what I'm going to have you do is I want you to be able to teach me about this stuff. Okay? So, instead of me standing up and lecturing you and telling you this is what you need to know, I want you to dig in and tell me what's important. Okay? So, here I'm asking about oil. You'll click on it. I want you to give me the definition. What is oil? Where do we get it from? What is it created from? And then you can watch the video or you can read that web page or you can do both. And I want you to take some notes on it. I do expect you to fill these in, okay? I do want you to use your own brain on this. Please don't copy and paste things straight from the website. That doesn't tell me you're learning anything. That tells me that you're taking somebody else's words and putting it on a piece of paper just to slide by. All right? And I want you to learn from this. This is not busy work. This is not me trying to get out of doing something. This is me trying to get you to dig in and tell me what you think is important about these energy resources, okay? So if I come over here, we'll start with oil. I'll show you what it would look like. And oil is a fossil fuel, so I'm going to hover over it. There we go. I found oil. I will click on oil. I'm going to come over here. It tells me that oil is a fossil fuel liquid hydrocarbon used mainly for the production of transportation fuels and petroleum-based products. I don't mind if you copy and paste definition because definition is not really going to change. It's kind of like you using vocabulary words, okay? So I don't mind if you copy and paste the definition. But when you're telling me about oil, I want you to watch the video. I want you to read some about oil. Tell me where it comes from. Tell me whether it's great for us to use. Is it going to hurt us if we ingest it? Think about the oil spills that happen sometimes. I really want you to think about how this impacts us every day. So please take this seriously, put in the effort. I want you to be able to go to a website and read it and tell me what's important from this because that's really important in science and especially everyday living. Because if you're trying to decide whether you want solar panels on your house or if you want natural gas to your house to power your gas stove or gas logs or to go to your heater, you need to know what that's going to look like and what that means for you, what it means for the environment, what it means for the future. Okay. So I want you to be able to read this stuff. I want you to be able to go in and tell me what this stuff means and what these implications are for us and the community as a whole. All right. So I want you to be able to look for this information. I want you to be able to explain it. I want you to be able to understand it when you look at these websites. Okay. And I want you to be able to find good websites. That's part of why I'm giving you a lot of resources this year. I'm trying to give you ways to understand how to decide what's good information and what's not good information. All right? So you are going to fill these in like you would in class, like if you were just jotting down a couple notes while I'm teaching you. That's what I want to see here. It doesn't have to be anything super crazy. I've given you some examples right here highlighted in blue. Where does that fuel source come from? Is it mined? Where is it mined from? Do we normally find oil in the middle of South Carolina? Or do we typically see those oil deposits in the Middle East or in California? Or do we see coal in the northeastern United States? Where do we normally find these resources if we're going to mine them out of the ground? Okay. Or where do we get the hydroelectric power? Do we use the small creeks and streams behind our house, or do we use the huge rivers and the huge, like where there's some waterfalls? Do we use those for our energy, or do we use the smaller sources? Okay. So I do want you to think about those things. Now, is it safe to use? I want you to look at it. Tell me if it's safe to use. Tell me if it's great. And I'll go ahead and tell you this. Not all of them are perfectly safe. Most of them aren't perfectly safe. No matter what we do, there's going to be a risk associated with it. So I want you to think about those things. Okay. Tell me if it's a reliable source or not. Is it something we can use all year round, or is it something we have to think about where we put it? Where are we going to get the most wind if we put up a wind turbine in the middle of a city around tall buildings, or is it going to work better in a wide open field where there's more wind that can get to it? I want you to think about these things and think about the disadvantages of using some of these things. All right. So some places it would be really hard to use solar panels. Like if you're near the North Pole, they only have 6 months of light and then they have 6 months of dark. So that wouldn't be a great fuel source for them because they would be without that kind of energy for 6 months out of the year. Granted, they could store up a lot of energy with it, but it's still not enough for 6 months worth of energy. So there are places where this would be a good thing to use and places where it's not a great idea. So I want you to dig into those types of things, all right? And that's it.